Hi, this is Mato. Welcome to my online chess lecture. In this video I will show you a game between Grischuk and Leinier Perez. This is a game from the World Cup, played in Khanty Mansiysk in 2019. Grischuk had white pieces and he started with knight to f3. Perez played d5, g3, knight to f6, bishop to g2, e6. Grischuk castled kingside, bishop to e7, c4, Perez castled kingside 2, d4, the Catalan opening, d takes on c4, the Catalan open, white to move. Grischuk played queen to c2. Knight to e5 was another way to go. Queen to c2. Players like Kasparov, Kramnik and Anand played this move too, so it must be good. a6, a4, bishop to d7, queen takes on c4, bishop to c6, bishop to g5, knight from b to d7. Well, bishop to d5 is a very popular move in this position. Knight from b to d7, knight to c3, h6, asking a question, bishop takes on f6, knight takes on f6, rook from f to d1, bishop to d5, attacking the queen, white to move. Queen to d3 was played. Well, knight takes on d5 was another way to go. But this move is not promising much to white. Back to our game. Queen to d3. Bishop takes knight on f3. Bishop takes bishop, c6. King to g2, queen to a5. e3. Rook from f to d8, queen to c4. Rook from a to c8. Rook from a to b1. Knight to d5, queen to b3. Queen to b4. Queen to c2. If queen takes on b4, bishop takes on b4. And it is hard for white to play for a win from this position. So we have queen to c2, a5, h4, knight to f6, h5, rook to c7, knight to e2, queen to b6, knight to f4, knight to d5, rook from b to c1, bishop to d6. If knight takes on f4, g takes on f4. Bishop to d6. Knight to d3. Now comes a period of maneuvering. Magnus Carlsen is very skilled in playing like that. Knight to b4. Queen to b3. Rook from c to d7. Bishop to e4. Queen to c7. Rook to h1. Knight takes on d3. Bishop takes on d3. Bishop to e7. Bishop to b1. Queen to d6. Queen to c2. Bishop to f6, not afraid of queen to h7 check. Queen to c5, let's take it back. Of course, queen to h7 check is tempting. And then black would play king to f8 after check. King to e7, queen to h7, and it looks like that white can't climb an advantage. Back to our game. That is why, in this position, Grischuk played queen to c5, offering to trade queens and to try to win in the endgame. Queen takes on c5, rook takes on c5, rook to d5, rook to c4, e5, bishop to e4, rook from 5 to d7, d takes on e5, bishop takes on e5. White to move. What is the best move for white in this position? Surely Grischuk was counting on this move when he traded queens, and the move is b4. A takes on b4, rook takes on b4. At move 40, white is standing slightly better. White has a pressure on the pawns on the queen side. Let's see how white takes an advantage of this position. Rook to a8, rook from h to b1, rook to a7, bishop to f5, rook to e7, bishop to c8, c5, rook to b5, rook to c7. Let's take it back. If rook takes on a4, rook takes on c5, rook to c7, bishop takes on b7, rook takes on a4. White is better. White has one pawn island and black has two, and that pawn on the c file is very vulnerable. Bishop to d5, king to f8. Of course, c4 is not recommended because of bishop takes on c4, and after rook from a takes on c4, rook takes on e5. Back to our game. So we have king to f8, f4, bishop to c3, e4, bishop to d4, e5, c4, rook to b8, check, king to e7, rook from 1 to b7, rook to a7, white to move. It looks like that black is holding, but in this position, Grischuk made a clever little move that made a big difference. What would you do in this position if you had white pieces? Grischuk played bishop to c6 and black must be careful. This is nearly lost for black. Black has only one good move in this position. Which one? What would you do in this position if you had black pieces? If black plays something like, let's say, rook from a takes on b7, then rook to e8, checkmate. Back to our game. Perez played f5, making some room for the king. Rook takes on c7, check. Rook takes on c7. Bishop to a4, rook to a7. White to move. And white has only one good move that keeps the advantage. And that move is... what would you do? The move is rook to b4. If bishop goes, say, to b5, then rook to c7. Black is holding, and what else? If bishop goes to c2, is that a good move? Then rook to a2 is unpleasant. Extremely unpleasant. Back to our game. Grischuk played rook to b4, rook to c7, king to f3, king to e6. Let's take it back. If c3 is played, then rook takes on d4, king to e6, bishop to c2, bishop to a7, rook to a4, bishop to b6, king to e2. Black has a difficult position in which it is hard to find a good move. This is almost Zugzwang. King to d5 was played. Let's try some other moves. If the bishop moves to a7, then rook to a6. White is winning. So if bishop goes anywhere, rook to a6, check. If c3, also rook to a6. Back to our game. King to d5, bishop takes on a5, rook to a7. Offering to trade rooks, hoping for a draw because of the opposite colored bishops. In this position, Grischuk was choosing between rook to b4 and rook takes rook. Rook to b4 looks even stronger than rook takes rook. But Grischuk, with little time on the clock, captured the rook. In this variation, he can't lose the game and has a hope to win. Bishop takes on a7. White is a pawn up, but to win with the opposite color bishops is a real skill. King to f3, bishop to c5, bishop to h7, c3, king to g4, bishop to f2, preventing king to f5, bishop to g8, check, king to c6, bishop to b3. Well, white is better, isn't he? King to d7, king to f3, bishop to e1, g4, bishop to d2, king to e4, king to e7. White to move. f5 was expected, but Grischuk had a different plan. He played king to f5, bishop to e3, and now his plan is revealed with the move g5. H takes on g5, and now king takes on g5. Bishop to d2, preventing king to g6. King to g4, bishop to e3, king to f3, bishop to d2, white to move. I guess king to e4 was expected. Grischuk surely considered king to e4, but instead he played this tricky move. h6. G takes on h6, f5. In a difficult position, Perez played c2. There were other ways to go, like bishop to g5 and king to f8. It looks like that king to f8 was a way to go, but with little time on the clock, it's hard to see how black draws. Let me show you one variation. If king goes to f8, then it's logically to expect this move, king to g4, then bishop to g5, f6, bishop to e3, e6, bishop to c5, king to h5, and then in this position, black has a saving move, believe it or not, which was hard to see in the mind's eye only few moves earlier. And the move is bishop to e7. Yes, this is the move. If king goes to g6, then h5. Pawn takes bishop, check. King takes pawn. King takes on h5, and then c2. White must take, and then king takes on e6. Draw insufficient material. Back to our game. c2 was played. White to move. Perhaps most players would immediately grab the pawn. Do you agree? Grischuk played f6, pushing the king back. King to f8, and now bishop takes on c2. Bishop to c3, king to f4, h5, bishop to d1, h4. The pawn is destined to die. Bishop to g4, bishop to a5, king to f5, bishop to c7, e6, bishop to d8, bishop to h5. Let's take it back. Of course, if pawn is pushed, then bishop takes on e7, and after pawn takes, king takes, draw. Back to our game. Bishop to h5, h3, bishop to g4, h2, bishop to f3, king to g8, king to g6, king to f8, bishop to c6, and black resigned. If the pawn is pushed and promoted to queen, then bishop takes on h1. After, say, king to g8, then pawn is pushed, and what now? Bishop takes, pawn takes, and then next move is pawn to e8, queen, check, mate. And let's go back. If in this position, bishop to e7, then f takes on e7, king takes on e7, king to f5, the king to d6, bishop goes to, say, f3, and white wins. That was an epic endgame battle, wasn't it? What do you think of this game? And that is all. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I wish you good luck with your chess, and bye for now.